Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Melinda and I post about literally anything and everything I'm currently passionate about. But lately I've been finding myself feeling really frustrated with everything around me, myself, people. I'm just like, I am so privileged to be able to study abroad, study away from home and experience life. What do I really have to complain about? Why am I so upset about everything all the time? So I decided to really look within. Why are you feeling like shit? I had a really interesting conversation with one of my friends today. Her name is Crystal. So Megan, shout out to you. I'm so glad that I have one of my friends from back home, also in New Zealand, because I don't know, the thought that she is here also is quite comforting for some reason. You guys understand that, right? If you're like living abroad as well. There will be like moments when you sort of feel like, I feel like I'm the only person on earth right now. You just sort of can't help feeling a little need for some sort of familiarity. Okay, so let me whip out my phone and try to... Okay, my phone is here. So I was into storying this book and she replied to it and she was just like, oh, I should really get that book. I kind of need it. And I was just like, well, to be honest, it's such a good read because it helped me understand how I felt a lot more and handle things better in terms of my emotions and how I react to things. And she was talking about how talking to people makes her feel better if she's feeling anxious. Definitely if you have something going on in your life, talk to somebody. It's always useful to gain some sort of perspective. It's all very relative. While it's good to get some perspective about your situation and sort of see it from a different point of view, it's also very important for you to form your own opinion, because ultimately there will be people with different opinions about you in general, and they won't always line up. So it's very important for you to really know who you are and really know the work that you've put into being you, if that makes sense. Because people have really different versions of reality. They may think that your choices in a certain occasion were not justifiable, but they may not know the full story. Or you might think that you're a bad person for doing a certain thing, but other people might not really think so. You know what I mean? So yeah, oftentimes if we feel like the world is falling apart or we feel really upset about a situation or somebody, it has more to do with our own insecurities. Before this, I studied in Cato's College in Subang, and while being in the Canadian pre-U program was a positive experience for a lot of people, it wasn't really a positive experience for me. I see those years as the two hardest years of my life, because I just struggled so much with who I was and what I stood for and what I wanted in life, and I was just all over the place mentally. So that's why I couldn't really sustain meaningful relationships. I couldn't really open myself up to people. I was really guarded. Honestly, a lot of shit went down then. Sorry, pardon my French, but a lot of shit went down then that I still can't believe, because I am somebody who generally avoids drama. I do not like confrontation, so I try to not do stupid things that would make people angry at me. So yeah, it was not the best years of my life, but it was mostly due to me, my choices, myself, how I let my surroundings sort of affect me, I guess. Ultimately, you have the choice to change how you feel about your circumstance. So I have sort of figured out, in a way, I won't say that this are very strict guidelines to follow, but this is a suggestion if you're feeling like shit on how to handle it, sort of tricks and techniques to sort of handle it, I guess. And I think the primary thing is to sort of disconnect, at least once in a day, disconnect and sort of tap within yourself, reflect. It's not just this, but it's also this. You're gonna have to sort of put it aside and not let the outside world affect you, especially the internet, guys. The internet is a whole different ballgame when it comes to the outside world. It's a place where you don't really get any context from what people say, so you just overthink it, and sometimes you look at pictures and you see people live their somewhat perfect life, but you don't really see the actual reality of things, if that makes sense. I'm sorry, but I'm trying my best here. Yeah, try to disconnect of the world a little bit and sort of tap within yourself. Try to figure out what you want for this very day and what are the little steps that you're gonna take towards making yourself feel better, making yourself feel happier with yourself, loving yourself a little more. Hashtag self-love. I have 3 things to share with you guys when it comes to helping yourself feel less shitty, and that is identifying good stress and bad stress. There is the law of diminishing return, and like basically this concept of law of diminishing returns is also very related to identifying good stress and bad stress, because as you guys all know, stress is good to a certain extent. After a certain point, it can be quite damaging to you. For instance, like I'm trying to make a point to not stress over the little things anymore. I used to always be annoyed by every single thing, and I used to always hold everyone on the tight leash that I hold myself to, and that's just not good for anybody. While it makes you feel like you're overwhelmed, it also makes people feel annoyed. So it's really not a win-win situation if you're like letting that stress overcome you. So just make sure that you check yourself every single time, like what is worth stressing over and what is not, you know what I mean? Like when it comes to a point where you're just like overthinking it and you're sort of micromanaging things, try to take a step back and like think, okay, do I really want to do this? Is it worth it? If not, just let go. Like learn to let go, because sometimes that is just the key to everything. There are certain things in life that you just can't control and you need to accept that. For instance, if I'm being honest, I used to be so annoyed in my last semester during my business class because I felt like I was like carrying a lot of the weight when it came to like team task, and I was trying to like hold everyone on a leash. But what I didn't realize is that by doing so, by trying to like strive for perfection and by trying to get a really good grade, I ended up controlling everything, and it came off really bossy, which was not good at the same time. Like yes, they could have put in a little more effort. I could have just backed off and let them do their thing, you know what I mean? I am making it a point this semester to be more chill, to be basically a better person, if you get what I mean. And yeah, okay, the second thing. You guys see that quote over there? So basically, I'm just going to read it out right now. It is a quote by this person named Seneca, and it basically says, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult." So a lot of people, when it comes to like fears and what makes them feel shitty, it's mostly due to fear, whether like it's fear of social interaction, fear of failure, fear of feeling ashamed, I guess, within like a public setting or within like social environments. Like for example, if you get bad grades, you're in fear of being sort of alienated by your family or alienated by like people who did better than you. You need to sort of take a step back. Again, take a step back. It's all about taking a step back and re-examining your life, because another quote here, "An unexamined life is really not worth living," because you're basically repeating the same mistakes over and over again and not really learning from your mistakes, if that makes sense. What I'm trying to say is that whenever you feel like you're having a setback, you're feeling really shitty, you're feeling really annoyed at yourself, take a step back, think about it. Why is this happening? You know the idea of a domino effect? Like this happened obviously because something else happened or because you did something. Find the core of that problem, because it may not be the very obvious cause, it may be something that's underlying. Like for example, lately I've been feeling very insecure about how people think of me. I'm dishing all my dirty laundry out there, but like I'm trying to make this as relatable as I can. I've been like really insecure about how people actually think about me, because obviously I'm out here alone and I'm really eager to make friends. I sound so desperate, but I'm really eager to make friends, and I'm really eager for people to like me so that I can have like meaningful relationships while I'm here overseas and not like stay in my apartment and just be within my own company. I want friends. I want good friends. So I really try very hard to reach out to people, but at the same time I don't want to come on too strong, because that's also not really cool to do. And often I find myself like struggling between, oh, am I too guarded? Am I coming on too strong? This struggle really comes from an insecurity of like how I feel about myself. I really don't know who I am. I don't really know who I want to be, but like I'm working towards that. I just know at the end of the day I just really want to be a good person. So that's that. My words are all over the place, but I'm hoping editing would do the job for me. So yeah, and with this book in hand, I've actually written something, and in relation to that quote over there, I actually wrote, "Note to self, the most memorable moments of your life is when you stepped out of your comfort zone and seized the world and seized all the world had to offer. It's when you took a chance. It's when you took back the power in your life and not let your fears consume you." There was a time that I jumped off a cliff in Greece. I am somebody who tends to overthink things. I am somebody who is scared of death. That's right, I'm scared of death. I'm scared of hurting myself. I can't even handle an injection. But I jump off that cliff in Greece, and that is the highlight of my trip. That is something that I will remember till the day I die, probably, because it's the most daring thing I've ever done. But I'm pretty sure if there's an opportunity like that again, I'll probably do it, just because I want to like push myself to the limit. I want to be better than I was yesterday. Of course, granted, I'm not going to try to kill myself, but like, I want to do things that would make me feel like I've lived my life to the fullest by the end of the day. Like, in my dying bed, I'm gonna like think about my life and be like, I had good memories. So yeah, I want. And there was another time where I traveled alone in Europe in the beginning of the year, and that was the best trip that I've had in my entire life. And I've been to a few places, I'm not gonna lie, I've been to a few places, but that was honestly one of the best trips that I've been to in my entire life, because I was surrounded by people I loved, and I got time to really reflect about the person that I was. I also gained some like massive self-confidence about being more independent. Even my dad said that, like, you know, after you went on the trip, I'm not as worried about you coming out to New Zealand as I would be if you didn't go on that trip, because I know now that I can trust you to handle yourself. So that was a really good thing to hear as well. And yeah, another thing where I stepped out of my comfort zone, because as you guys might know, I'm very bad at social interaction. It was when like I got a job, because my job meant that I had to sometimes be the friend of house, where I had to interact with strangers, take their orders, try to make small talk, try to be friendly, try to be inviting, and just give them like a sweet smile, even though like inside I feel like And finally I wrote, "You've accomplished so much. Let yourself be proud of yourself." Like, celebrate the little wins. Let yourself be happy for yourself. It's not narcissistic, it's not self-absorbed, is simply loving yourself. I would just like to close this with anything in life. There are a lot of choices that lead up to that. On the most part, you do have control over how you feel. You can always choose to not be the victim of your circumstance, if you get what I mean. Life is honestly 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it. So don't let any situation get you down and get you to a point where you feel like you're stuck, because honestly, you're not stuck. Talk to somebody, gain some perspective, dig yourself out of that hole. Only you can do it, no one else can. Don't expect anyone to, because that's just not fair on them. That you're probably wasting their time, and you're probably wasting your own time as well. So like, ultimately, if you're feeling funky, take a step back, gain some perspective, you'll get there. Trust me, you'll get there. Yeah, thank you for watching. If you like what I'm doing, please subscribe. Leave something down below if you feel like leaving something. Thumbs up if you feel like thumbsing up. Or yeah, basically, that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.